Hello and welcome back to Xpwaste, where Oxie doesn't know this, but I have packaged the fruit and mailed it to him so he can be Fruit Daddy. I'm Michael.
And I'm disappointed and also nervous to check the mail. Hello, we're the podcast, if you're new around here, about Old School Runescape. We play the game, we talk about the game, we talk about updates to the game, and essential things you should know about the game. If you're not new around here, I will go to Texas and attack Michael if he actually sent me the fruit. So, just
I can confidently
old timers
say
be warned.
the fruit is safely on my desk still. Okay, so what episode is this?
57.
57. But we
57
skipped last
with a
week.
week break, yeah.
Yeah, so this is 8 weeks now. 2 entire months of fruit being on my desk. If you're not new around here, like Oxie said, this has been I don't know, it's like a saga, a side quest we're going on, essentially, where episode 50, we did an episode where like we made gnome cocktails and there was like real fruit involved, and we cut it and we put it in the glass and we drink our cocktails. And me being a very lazy, I don't know, I call it laziness, but as others would call it ingenuity. Me being the curious person that I am, left some fruit on my desk to see how long it would last. And now it's been 8 weeks. And this orange has to be genetically modified because it still looks edible. Look at me in the eyes and tell me this does not look edible. There is not a single hair or fuzzy thing on this orange. It smells fine to me. Now, I'll give you guys a fruit update. This lime, still as hard as ever. It's basically turned into a rock, and I had no idea limes could do this. The lemon does not look promising. The only reason I would throw this fruit away anytime soon is because of this lemon. I think that if one goes, they all have to go. This isn't like a survival of the fittest thing. This is group content. You've lost your group hardcore status. They're all going. So it may happen in the next 2 weeks. I'm trying to get to 10 weeks to see what happens, but I may have to throw it away.
I have, for reference, for those of you who are on audio only, the orange looks like one of those plastic oranges you would find at a funeral home. The lime looks more akin to a walnut. I'm not kidding. The ripe green lime looks like a walnut.
Oh, the lime, yeah.
All shriveled and brown. And the lemon looks like a clementine. Just picture that for a second. What like a tiny little orange, little mandarin orange, little clementine looks like. It's a lemon. It's disgusting. Anyways, speaking of changing the subject, Michael, how's your week been?
It's been pretty good. I actually played RuneScape this week. And like my week being good is not,
heavens.
The two are not like mutually exclusive. Like I don't have a good week because I played RuneScape. It's just been a good week. Like it was Easter weekend. A lot of my family met my son for the first time and they had a great time. But I played RuneScape. I went on a couple raids. We did a couple learner raids. That was a lot of fun. I haven't done much else. I mean, right now I'm 470k away from 96. So I can do the Mauritania Elite Diary. Had I not done it already?
I was going to say...
96.
I was at your Diary Cape party.
Yep.
What? But
trying to see if you're paying attention.
I was. That's why I was so confused.
I designed and printed some 3D printed some runes. That'll be for a thing we do on Discord. If you're interested, ask us about it later. And it's been fun. I got the air rune and the earth rune printed, and I printed the water rune. And if for those on video, you're welcome. It just wasn't great. I printed it again. It wasn't great.
What's happening to the poor thing?
From what I can tell from the support groups that I'm in, there's just not enough top layers. And so it's either too hot, and those thin top layers are like basically just getting remelted, and it's like they call it like pimpling, um, or my filament is just going bad. Which I'm more inclined to think that it's the top layers need to be added. So tomorrow, on my day off, I added top layers in the software, and I'm going to be printing it again. So hopefully it works out, because they're about 3.5 hours to 4 hours each time I attempt this. So that's like 8 hours down the drain right there. That's the only downside to 3D printing that I'm not a fan of, is like the time commitment involved with the hope that it's going to work. It may not. And if you 3D print and you guys are out there, you know my pain. It may not work, and you just have to cross your fingers when you press print and hope that it works. But enough about me, Oxie. How was your week?
That's how I feel in the Inferno. My week has been good. Bingo ended.
It did.
And the week after Bingo ended, we opted to take a hiatus. And instead, Michael and I had a very long and productive business meeting about episodes we're going to plan for the future. So it wasn't just like, oh, we don't want to, not do we don't want to do an episode. It was more of like, our episodes have had no direction since episode 50, so let's figure something out. And we've got some exciting stuff planned for you guys. But because of those two things in conjunction, not recording an episode and finally being done with Bingo, I've not played a whole lot of RuneScape, and it's been delightful.
Yeah.
Of course, I love this game. I feel like at this point, I just made a RuneScape TikTok. I don't, another one for our account. You can go check it out on our TikTok page. I don't need to defend that I love the game, but my God, I also love not playing it for a couple of days. In the past week, I've done some fishing. Yeah, I've done some fishing. I am 301k away from 91 fishing, so I can actually complete the Mauritania Elite Diary, unlike Michael. So
You see how that kind of worked out?
yeah, it's almost as if I told you about it before the show and you just said it.
The joke came full
funny
circle.
Funny how that works out. Yeah, but I truly have just been fishing, chilling, vibing. I popped into VC today, watched some folks get a purple, and then had to leave for therapy, and they promptly got a scythe after I left. So you're welcome for the Oxie passive.
Hey, I did that earlier too this week. Somebody in the clan was like, "Hey, Michael, I need some blessing. I'm about to kill some Cerberus," and I was like, "May RNG bless you," you know, the prayer that you say.
Mhm.
And then like 2 kills later, he got primordials as an Iron Man. So
Hell yeah.
I think that was Antics, actually. Shout out to you, Antics.
Hell yeah. Or Anti-Zan, I think.
Oh,
So I think it's meant to be like Zan, yeah. In any case.
Okay. They got it 74 or something KC as an Iron Man at Cerb. Best in slot boot upgrade. So
Hell
yeah, Anti-Zan. Yep.
Yeah.
I just looked them up in the clan.
But yeah, it's been a pretty good week. I've been playing a little bit of Lego Star Wars, not as much as I'd like, because I did go home for Easter weekend. Came home today. It's a nice Easter weekend, kind of video game free. Nice little reset for that. Played Stardew Valley today for the first time in a couple of months. Still waiting on finding some time to play Jedi Fallen Order, which I'm stoked about. Still want to do more things in RuneScape. Have been thinking more about the Inferno more and more. And I'm like, I'm ready to go back. I'm ready.
Ooh.
Problem is finding the time, but a significant update in my real life. By the time this episode comes out, I will be at my last day of internship. Or depending on how long Michael takes to edit it, done with my last day of internship. So there's a chance I'm already done.
There's not a chance.
It's not. What do you mean there's not a chance?
I'll be done tomorrow.
You'll be done tomorrow? Hell yeah. So yeah, in addition to being done with internship, school is almost done. The big one, the big final asterisks degree. I kind of want to go back for a doctorate in like 20 years when I have a lot of field experience and like feel ready to teach the next generation of therapists how to do this. But for right now, for at least the next decade or two, probably 2, I'm done with school. Very soon. I have my degree. I have to finish internship, which technically was done 2 weeks ago. So the reason I say that, I have to get direct hours and indirect hours.
Mm-hmm.
But in there as well, I also have to get supervision hours where I have to sit with my supervisor and like talk about cases, talk about my progress as a counselor. We also been talking about our next steps of like where I'm going to get a job after this and like what licensure looks like. I thought supervision hours were counted separately, and I was like, shit, I'm going to have to do a lot of like bullshit busy work to fill these indirect hours because my direct hours are done. Like I've had my direct hours done for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out supervision and indirect hours are the exact same thing. So I've been done with internship for like 3 weeks at this point, and I've just like kept coming back in because I didn't realize I was done. So like I still have to go to class tomorrow, Tuesday night, and that might be my last class, or it's going to be the week after that. I'm not sure. One of these days is my last undergraduate class. That was a long time ago. My last class ever for the next 20 years or so will be in a couple of weeks.
Wow, dude.
But on Thursday, I'm done. Not going back into internship. I have my going away party in a couple of weeks for there as well. Fingers crossed they hire me at the site, but we'll see. Yeah, so that's what's been going on in the real life, in the game life. Oh my god, the combat achievement update dropped. That happened in the week that we were off. I think I completed 8 tasks that day. I have 5 tasks left in the Elite Combat Diary. Unsurprisingly, all of the combat or the KC tasks are completed.
Mm-hmm.
I actually finished a bulk of them during bingo. Like all the God Wars ones that I was like, oh, I'll never get that done. I think I got 3 of the 4 done during bingo. And then I'm like on the cusp of the Theater of Blood one, the original one. I have 60 KC out of the 75. So I finished some more tasks there, which is pretty cool. I've got some more Grandmasters done, just strictly kill count, but I've got some more Grandmasters done. I've got the Chambers of Zarek and Corrupted Gauntlet Grandmaster. So like that's cool. But only 5 left. I have Toppling the Diarchy, Orag Freezer 2, Fragment of Seren Speed Trialist, which I should have done before I sold all my mage gear for the scythe. And then Sleep Tight and Solo Nightmare Speed Trialist. Now, on their own, they're not hard because normal Nightmare is a breeze compared to Fazani's Nightmare. It's literally just an endurance test.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. But oh my god, it is both friggin' believably boring and just, pardon my French, fucking bullshit. I just die on stupid things. Like, not even like, oh, the boss is hard. Like, Oxie, that's the dumbest shit I've ever seen you do. Like, you walked off of the shadow portal and then right back on it because you attacked her a tick early and got hit for a 60. Or like, you literally were not paying attention to where Nightmare was and took a 70 on a melee. Like just stupid. So like, I will get those challenges done eventually, and with a scythe and thralls, that goes fast. I might see if I can borrow one of our friends' Inquisitor gear again. Poor Jesse, dude. He tried to get me the achievement during bingo. Full Inquisitor, Sang Staff, Ancestral, like all this stuff to like up the damage. I was making great time. I was pacing like 11 minutes to finish P2, which is way underneath the time you need. It's like 23 minutes. And it's when you get infected with a parasite, right? Are you okay? What's that face for?
It takes 23 minutes to solo Nightmare?
That's the elite time. The master time, I think, is like 17. Grandmaster time? Let me check. Grandmaster time.
How long does a normal, not speedrun solo Nightmare kill take?
Too long. The GM time for solo speedrunner is 16 minutes. That's the GM time. So if you're sweating your balls off, it's 16 minutes.
Why did I think a solo Nightmare was like 15 minutes just casual? Holy smokes, dude. That is not a solo boss.
A casual Fazani's is probably like 10 to 12,
That's insane.
Having one Fazani's KC with an 11-minute PB, I think I would know. But it's coming. I was at Dagannoth King so much during bingo, you think I would have gotten Toppling the Diarchy, but every single time I went to get that stupid Archer's Ring, I forgot Chinchompas. So It's gonna happen. It's not hard. I need
Yeah.
some bullet monkeys for Orag Freezer 2. I need to borrow Sangstaff for Fragment of Seren, which I probably don't even need. I just need to not suck at the fight. But speedruns and I don't get along that well. So,
What is a bullet monkey?
someone to just tank damage.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe I need like a DPS addition, like I have to catch the freeze, hit a couple of attacks, and then I need like notch draw loose, like 7 people with blowpipes to kill General Gardor before he can attack anyone.
Yeah.
That just like get me the achievement. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards of like what I'll have to do. Just like recruit people in VC, like, hey, I'll give you each 250k to not get hit by General Gardor.
Run!
But there's a lot of room for error there. But Elite Combat Diaries are coming. Infernal Cape,
Yes.
not as guaranteed, but Elite Diaries, both normal achievement diaries and combat diaries are coming.
But I think the bright side of this is that you're excited, or at least intrigued, about attempting that grind again.
I am. I'm ready to go back to the Inferno. I had a weird thought today. I think the Infernal Cape is currently blocking off my RNG.
Interesting.
Like, if that makes sense. Yeah, y'all ever seen
Yeah.
Spirited Away? When she has like that gunk monster or that stink monster. There's a scene in Spirited Away where there's like a trash monster that comes into the spa and she has to like pull this thorn out, and as soon as she pulls the thorn out, all this garbage comes out and it just like rushes out, and then this like beautiful like white spirit appears and it's like thank you and disappears. That's what's my RNG, and the thorn is the Infernal Cape. So the minute I get that cape, I'm getting pets, I'm getting drops, I'm getting everything back. I haven't seen a purple in my name in God knows how long. Too long. I gotta say. I haven't seen a pink drop on the ground in my name in too long. Let me tell you. I couldn't get drops to save our lives during bingo. I got one drop. I lied. I got one pink drop at Armadillo. I got the wrong Armadillo piece for their God Wars tile. I got the chain skirt.
Yeah.
It's the most disappointed I've ever been about a 37 mil drop in my entire life in the main game. But it was still nice to get that money. I have not gotten a pet in almost a year. And as our clan's designated pet spoon, I don't care if people think Nickscape is the pet spoon. Don't cite the deep magic to me, witch. I was there when it was written. Okay? I need to reclaim my title. Nick has been popping off though. He got like 6 pets in like 5 weeks or something like that. Like, it's disgusting.
Wow.
His RNG has been off the
Quiz
chain.
random.
Quizmaster, let's go, baby.
Stale baguette? Question mark?
Here we go. This is the return of my RNG.
Here we go.
20 nature runes. I hate this stupid game. Whatever. There needs to be a kill count on those.
There really does.
Which
At least some sort of log.
Right? Like, there's a random event collection log, but we need specifically a mystery box kill count, which I think leads pretty well into our main title content.
Wow.
So
very smooth.
For right, you know how good we are with that. Like, additions we think need to be made to the game, baby.
Here we go.
So like we said, for the past couple of weeks, Michael and I have just been like texting each other 20 minutes before recording and being like, what are we talking about this week? Oh, let's just look at the most recent news post, which is exactly what we didn't want Xpwaste to be. So we talked about a lot of interesting topics that we wanted to bring up today. And of course, we're leading with one of the most recent news posts, because we're so good at trying to prevent that.
In our defense, it technically wasn't a news post. I'm going to look up the website and see, because I don't think that they've advertised this as a thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at everything from April, and there's nothing about, and you guys already know what we're going to talk about, so I'll stop being cryptic. There's nothing about the OSRS GameJam.
Yeah.
Or so it's been called. So technically, Oxie, we are not just regurgitating website content that people could already go and read for themselves.
We're not doing it from the news website. We're doing it from JMod's Twitter. And that's the new Xpwaste. No, I'm kidding. So some of this stuff, the reason why we want to talk about it this week is because when Michael and I sat down and were like planning out topics, we pretty much both were like, we can't ignore all the big things that are possibly coming from this game jam. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's no way that we can just like not talk about it, you know?
It's huge.
So it's not all finished yet. They're all works in progress, and there are still some projects that we're not necessarily aware of in full. Like, they haven't been fleshed out enough to like really give you guys real content. But the stuff that has is super cool. So Michael and I figured we would kind of explore some of the bigger things. And then maybe, you know, do a little game jam of our own. Like, what would we add to Old School? Which I feel like is what we talk about every week. Maybe we'll save it for the fun question. We'll see. But
Yeah.
mystery box kill count. Oxie for Jmod. All right. Michael, what do you got for us?
So this is gonna sound, and I just to pre-warn you guys, like this is gonna sound like freaking all over the place because it kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
So overarching, we have a wilderness extension, and I'll preface all of this with this is all work in progress stuff. None of this has been pulled or even proposed as actual content. This is all theoretical. These are things that the JMods took, you know, a week off from the regular scheduled updates, and they said, okay, you can have this week, you can have this time. I don't know if it was actually a week, but like, create projects, do what you got to do, team up, do it solo, whatever you want to work on this week. We're not doing like our roadmap stuff. So I want to say, I have the wiki pulled up. It was Mod Soften, Mod Aiza, Mod Rock, and Mod Goblin were all of the ones working on specifically the wilderness extension. So the idea is that the new lands have been added north of level 55. So north of like where you spawn in, not spawn in, but yeah, spawn in for like if you pull the lever crunk. North of there, and some of it's safe. Others have like very specific things going on. I don't know if I want to give like a general just overview of all this stuff, or if we want to start on the left and work to the right and kind of talk about each thing, because this is our podcast. We can talk as long as we want. You guys are going to listen to it. So we'll just start on the left.
My only rule is no 4-hour episodes.
It's 3 hours, 59 minutes. And even if we're not done, it's going to get cut. So Skull Island. Okay, so for reference, if you guys are pulling this up on your phone, I've got the picture that they posted on Twitter, and I'm just going to start on the left side and we're going to work our way over. So Skull Island is proposed to be where you have a boss, I guess adequately named, let's see, Scowl. The Skull Golem boss. Boss counts as undead. Potential drops are a lunar upgrade to the Theremin Scepter. It makes it so it can cast lunar spells. And they also want a way for the boss to draw something that will combine the Wilderness Rings with the Decay's Rings. It says, imagine him as a Dark Skulls-esque skull bone golem. So somebody's obviously, some JMod's obviously been playing some other video games this week.
Other games.
Got inspired. So the big takeaway on this one is the ability to combine the Wilderness Rings with the Decay's Rings. I don't know. And you're just theorizing in this, like, is there going to be specific combinations? I was thinking it would be cool if to combine the ring, you had to have the 2 rings that you wanted to combine in your inventory. And then when you kill the boss, there's like a random chance that they get combined or not. So then it adds to the risk of the wilderness.
Okay.
Versus like just, you know, being able to sit there, farm a boss for a drop, and then being able to go and buy it and combine your rings. Like you have to really sit there and risk those rings potentially for a great benefit. Because if you wanted to put a Berserker ring with the Ring of the Gods, which is tens of millions in risk, you're going to have to do that all the while being above level 55 wilderness, where, and I'll get to this in a second, like combat levels are ignored. So if you're a low level pure and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to go because they can't attack me. No. You're like, it's dangerous. So that was a big takeaway with that one. The proposed levels level 912. So I would imagine this isn't going to be a super soloable boss. So a lot of the themes around these wilderness bosses are, it's going to be somewhat like you have to take a team or you go in a mass. The thing that I kind of grazed over was an upgrade to the Theremin Scepter. Like the red-headed stepchild of the 3 Revenant boss drops. Nobody uses it. I didn't even know it was a thing till recently.
It is a thing. Yeah. That you said, what was the combat level of that skull boss?
912.
912. All right. For reference, let's see here. 912 sits right above the corrupted Hunlif.
Okay.
And right below Jaltok Jad and the Maiden of Sugandinti.
Oh.
So Inferno Jad and Maiden are stronger combat level wise, but Corrupted Hunlif is not. So
okay.
Obviously you have to take into account that like some things don't necessarily reflect, like difficulty is not reflected by combat level, obviously. But it's a pretty good indicator considering the top 3 are Verzik Vitur, Tescal Zuck, and then Verzik Vitur again. She almost takes the number 4 spot too, but Olm takes that. But she takes number 5. So, shout out to Verzik for being 3 of the 5 strongest monsters in the game.
All at the same time. Different, what is it? Different phases, I guess?
Yeah, it's P1, P2, and P3 is the strongest monster in the game. But
nice.
So that's a little spooky that's just going to be planted out into not even 50s. At this point, probably like mid 60s, maybe level 70 wilderness. Like
right in the middle. Yeah, it's cool. I definitely think that if anything passes, this one should be heavily considered. I'll probably say that for all of these because I literally have no quarrels against any of it. Like, wilderness is good for the game. I don't care to be in the wilderness, and I don't care for PvP or PKing, but it definitely allows people who want to play the game a specific way to play the game. And I'm not just kissing butt. Like, that's the truth. This game is so diverse for a reason. It's because not everybody fits into one specific box, one specific mold of a RuneScape player. There's so many different things. Not technically a huge thing, but like they want to expand the wilderness agility course and add a level 75 requirement. So it essentially would have Sears Village type XP rates, which if I remember correctly, Sears Village is like what, 40k an hour?
Is it with or without the teleport? They did that on purpose because they don't know the XP rates. They're like, let's say Sears Village. So the first question everybody asks is with or without the teleport, and they just go,
yes.
Like,
yes.
I think it's cool. I'm excited for that. It kind of looks like it's almost optional. Like you can do the normal agility course, but the way they've kind of like crudely drawn it in like MS Paint or however they've decided to update
for sure.
It looks like it's just longer. Like you have to cross an obstacle that requires level 75 to get to it.
So it like adds to the course in a yeah. I actually appreciate the way that they added to this. Like they made this map very, very crude, and it's kind of warms my heart as somebody who
it's hysterical.
Also,
this is delightful.
Yeah, like just really bad, but also really good content. Anyway, there's a safe city. It doesn't have a name that I know of.
On this page that I see from Twitter, it's called Skalavik, which I looked it up because a lot of it's a Fremennik based city, and a lot of the Fremennik words have like meanings, if that makes sense. Like when you complete Exiles, you get the title Draper, I think. Draper. Somebody who speaks a language from up there is going to correct the shit out of me, I hope. But it means Slayer in whatever language that is. I looked it up. Let me see here. Skalavik is not a city that I can find, but there are the Skalavik Halsen Hills, which is a point on coastal Antarctica if we're looking at the map straight on, directly south of like down and to the right a little bit of Cape Town, down and to the left a little bit of Madagascar. So
Cool.
that's all I was able to find on it on
yeah.
Google. I did that during the show, so it's not like I've done extensive research on Skalavik or the Skalavik House and Hills. Just sort of popped up, what can you do? Yeah, so that's neat, I guess. So just thinking of names. It's not in Welsh. That's a win. We might be able to pronounce it. Hell yeah.
Right. So
So-
Skalavik is going to be a safe city. From the looks of the proposed map, it'll have a bank, a cooking range, and a general store, as well as a an altar. And it looks like a small church potentially, where the idea behind that whole city essentially is like you have Fremenic outcasts that have ventured into this wilderness area and with hopes of making a new life. And I think tying into that is going to be a new quest where you teach them how to PK, and it introduces you to the world of PKing in a safe way, because it's not going to make you go into the wilderness for any reason. But you'll have quest NPCs and stuff that teach you how to PK. So
I looked it up on Wikipedia. Skalavik Helsen is apparently Norwegian for Skull Bay Neck, I think.
Sick. So I like that they're going with the whole skull theme. I do appreciate that.
It makes sense. That's cool. Those are the little details that you add to a map that was made in like the iPhone photo editor software. I love this map so much.
Yeah, obviously we'll have a link to everything in the description. What I'm looking at specifically is the wiki article that was posted about this. So if you guys want to just follow along on the wiki, you can check out the map there. So you'll have, speaking of the city, you'll have safe travel to it from, I think it's somebody that's going to basically be your guide, and they'll charge you gold if you just want to get straight to the city gate for free or safely. If you want to get there safely. Or they'll have a teleport of some sort. Another cool thing is once you're in the city, you can actually get a one-way trip to Relica, not the other way around. But if you need to get to Relica for any reason, and maybe you don't want to go back down through the wilderness to get out of the city, you can go to Relica. So moving on into the right, we have the resource area 2. The proposal here is doubled or even tripled resources with no increase in XP, which I kind of appreciate that. It's not going to be easy to get to. It's not going to be very safe to be there. And there's a lot of reward. So what does that mean? Risk and reward. That's just a combination for a good time. Like if you're like 85 mining and you wanted to make some money mining rune, you could make, what is it, like 12K per rune ore nowadays, and you're getting like 3 at a time. Yeah, so the idea there is you would need some sort of key or a token that you collect elsewhere in the wilderness. Then you run over there and you use it and you get in. So I think it's interesting. They could put some really high level trees in there, potentially magic trees, or I don't know what other trees are profitable these days. Magic trees, okay. Magic trees or rune ore. They could put all that in there and you guys can make some money off of it.
What I think would be cool for that area is if they gave as an incentive to go, because my issue with the current resource area is why am I going to waste my time going there when, in addition to literally the shittiest XP rates in the game, because magic trees and runite and dark crabs are not fast XP, I also get killed and lose all my resources.
Yeah.
I have a dark crab stacked from killing Venonata, so I don't need to fish one for myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I think would be cool is if they gave like a dummy thick invisible boost. You know how like they do at the fishing guild, the woodcutting guild, where you have that invisible +7? Give it like an invisible +20. So you got resources like every 5 game ticks.
Wow.
Which is like, I think how the gathering skill cycles go is every 5 ticks you have a chance to get a thing.
Yeah.
Basically guarantee that like it's like 80-20, you'll get it or you won't. Where like now people have an incentive to go get double resources, because now people also have an incentive to go PK getting double resources. And it's tempting because, unlike the resource area that exists now, it's not that far from a bank. There's no piles, miles, guiles, whoever to note your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, wouldn't it be a whole lot safer to just bank your inventory of magic logs that you got at a pretty decent rate, you know, than to do whatever? But that run from the resource area over to Skalavik, that might be a little bit of a risky run.
Yeah.
Now, does that affect XP per hour per some activities? Yes. Does it affect it enough to damage existing metas? I wouldn't think so. Something tells me being able to get a Runite Rock once every 5 game ticks is not going to drastically affect the amount with which you can
I think I see what you're talking about with the boost, with the invisible boost.
Yeah, obviously once every 5 game ticks making it guaranteed would be ridiculous for XP because it is the best one in the game. You know, in Melvor Idol, you can level up with Runite because Runite mines at the same speed of all the other ores, and it's the best one. You just mine Runite until you can mine Dragon, and then once you get Dragon ore, you mine that to 99. Could you imagine how slow that would be? A Runite only 85 to 99 build?
No, I don't even want to think about
like,
it.
You could probably calculate it, but like, oh my god. So I think an invisible boost to incentivize being able to like get resources faster in addition to like the double or triple resources would be hella cool for that area, because otherwise I'm not gonna go.
No,
unless there's a clue step there, I'm not gonna go.
Sure. The worry with anything that is proposed on this scale is that there's going to be dead content immediately. So with this being such a new and proposed thing, having it be such a work in progress, there's an opportunity to try and make stuff not dead content. And like you're saying, give people incentive, don't slap something there and say, yeah, that sounds like a good idea in theory, and then leave it at that. I think there's enough stuff like that in RuneScape where things were just put there in theory, thinking, oh, somebody's going to go. Well, it's dead content at that point. So I'm hoping none of this stuff is that, on the road to them actually developing this kind of stuff. Because, if you pull this, I feel like there's a chance it's going to come out. If they put this to a poll and said, here's everything we want to do, I don't know. Do you think they would pull individual things? Or would they have to pull the entire thing and just be like, hey, you trust us, right?
You see, I know that they would pull individual things because that's how RuneScape works at this point. But imagine they went the Zulrah route and gave us 2 questions. Would you like a new snake boss in the game? What would you like the snake boss to be called? And that was the whole poll. Would you like the wilderness extension? What would you like the name of the wandering wilderness boss that we've not gotten to yet? What would you like it to be called?
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Oh my god, that would be... Oh, they just got free reign,
dude.
Blanket update a shitload of content, and they didn't have to have 70 poll questions where people who are like, this game was better in 2009, nitpick the dog shit out of this in the polling system. Jagex, please! Oh my god, 2 questions. 2 questions.
Realistically, they probably would have to have 3 because they've already set the precedent that they pull quests. So it's like, should we have the poll? Should we have the extension? What should the name be? And should there be a quest involved? 3 questions. Easy.
Because I think Mod Ed has said quests pass with a 96% approval rating.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that would be so cool, dude. It's never gonna happen, but
no.
Man, that would
this
be
is gonna
so
get nitpicked.
Cool.
This is 100%
it's gonna be nitpicked. The whole of Ideation Days or GameJam is gonna get nitpicked. Unfortunately, we're kind of here nitpicking it ourselves, but in a positive way.
No, we're explaining it to the people who don't care to read. So moving on to the Bridge of Fate. So this one's pretty simple. It's a bridge that would connect the current level 55 wilderness to whatever they're calling this, the extended wilderness. Past this bridge, combat levels don't matter. We kind of teased that before, but say you're level 3 and you think, oh, I'm not going to get killed up here. Yeah, sorry, buddy. You're dead. I think it's that way anyway. Like if you're level 3 and you're in 55 wilderness, a level 126 can attack you. Oh wait, no.
Your level cap at 126 is like 75 or something like that. Do you know how awesome it would be to get the bot busting videos of max mains in that truly terrifying PK gear when they show up in like full crystal with a Serp Visi and you're like, I'm in danger when one of them sons of bitches shows up and starts bot busting out there? Because people are out, like maybe they make red dragon bots. Because there's a red dragon area. Maybe they do make resource area bots, or maybe they make ent bots because that's like a profitable thing to do. People will bot anything.
Yeah.
And then like you can't, your combat level can't save you now, and you're just like running around with a bofa, killing a bot every 4 ticks because you're dealing 10 damage because they're only level 3.
Hell yeah.
That'd be so cool. I think that's a very cool piece. That like combat levels aren't restricted. My question now is, will wilderness levels matter? And how will that affect teleports if wilderness levels aren't a thing? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that teleports aren't going to work north of the bridge. But is there a way they could do something with teleports to make them work like 10% of the time?
Interesting.
But it alternates every like 60 game cycles or something, or 100 game ticks.
So you're in the teleport zone, but it's gonna move in like 3 minutes or 2 minutes.
Yeah, maybe like every minute there's like a random chance where like teleports just don't work in that chunk. Okay, hear me out. Y'all remember Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire and like Pokemon Emerald and all that? When you beat the game and you had to catch Latios or Latias, and Latios and Latias would shift every time you went to a different route. So like every time you went to a route, it would move somewhere else. So like you would just walk back and forth until it was eventually in your route. And then once it was in the same route as you, you could try to catch it. What if it was like that? Where like one chunk you could teleport from. And if you weren't in that one chunk, you just couldn't teleport because like the level restrictions are gone. I don't know why I thought that would be so cool, but
I'm also thinking like ways to stop people from cheesing it. Like anytime that you click a teleport and it didn't work, it damages you. Like there's some sort of magic north of that area that like your necklace or something just like burns you or becomes hot. And so you can't just sit there and spam click until your teleport becomes available. Like for instance, you could have your construction cape set to left click teleport. You can't just sit there and spam it hoping you're gonna get away, because you're gonna get 10 damage every tick. And then, eventually it could work, but you're already dead. So
that could be so cool, especially if it was like randomized damage. But make it stupid, like 1 to 43. Random damage, and you're just like running from chunk to chunk. Like there's a new Rune Light plugin that shows like chunk borders of Old School RuneScape, and you get into a new chunk and you're like, God, I hope this is it. And you click your seed pod and you teleport away, or you click your seed pod and you just die right there while getting chased by a PK. Oh God, that'd be so cool.
I think it would be very interesting if like the death mechanic on that is like, I don't know, if somebody dealt damage to you, but your cape damaged you as well, it would count for their damage so that you can't, I don't know how the mechanics work. If you were to suddenly get yourself down with like a rock cake and then somebody comes and finishes you off, do they technically get kill credit because
I think
they
so.
didn't? Okay, well then, yeah. I'm just not knowledgeable in PK mechanics, but all right. The next part of this is the Deathfire Volcano. So there's a new volcano in town, and it's big. And they're talking about a new dragon boss called Volku. I think that's how we're pronouncing it. Essentially, this boss is a level 774. It's located, like I said, on the Deathfire volcano, and it would count towards Red's Dragon task, which is pretty cool. It has higher GP per hour than Vorkath, and some of the proposed drops are this is very blurry.
I'm gonna take it away because I have the higher resolution image. The Deathfire Visage, which is an upgrade to the DFS or to Dragonfire Shields rather. So implying like the DFS, the Dragonfire Ward. The Lava Visage, which is pretty cool. It's like the Serp Visi, but for Dragonfire protection. And you charge it with Volku's Essence, which I imagine are akin to like Zulrah scales.
Pause on that one. That's epic. Like, imagine the meta change here with any sort of dragon task that you normally have to take a shield or a potion. Like, I'm imagining that this Visage you would have, it would be like you don't need to take a potion to Vorkath, or you don't need to take potions to KBD.
You need to take a potion to Vorkath. However, for a majority of other dragons in the game, it would make the tasks marginally quicker because you could wield an Avernic with a normal Dragonfire thing. Because I would imagine this is not like... It's kind of like the shield itself. It like kind of protects, but you still have to like drink the anti-fire potion as well or something like that. My views are very skewed because at this point the only dragon I really kill is Vorkath. So I don't actually remember if you need an anti-fire potion and an anti-dragon shield to give full Dragonfire protection. I literally don't remember. I just do both everywhere I go. But with this Visi, it could speed up literally every Dragon Slayer task. Like, this is super cool.
And the boss looks sick. So I imagine that this Visage is just going to look epic.
Bro, if it had them like, horns like sticking off the back, oh, that'd be so cool.
Like, because like the Serp Visage is pretty cool looking. And I think with some sort of potential mutagen that you could change the color of it with different expansions in other bosses in the wilderness, that would be sick. But yeah, I would be excited for the Lava Visage.
For real. I also just like the idea of like RuneScape Monster Hunter-esque armor, you know? The amount of armor I would like from bosses is just, I want Monster Hunter style customization. Let me give you 1,500 superior dragon bones and you make me Torva armor that looks like Vorkath. That'd be super cool. Ooh. Make one of the, oh my god, you can make one of the arms totally sleeveless so it looks like you're missing an arm. Oh my god. They should hire me for the art team. I can't draw, but you should hire me for the art team.
You're the theoretical art guy.
Exactly. Theoretical artist. That's like the most... In any case, there's the Vulcan's Bow, which is an upgrade to the Dark Bow, which spews lava and applies burn, which would be a brand new effect for the game, which would be the same as poison, but it's removed with anti-fire protection.
Okay.
So, kind of just like how you've got poison and venom that are counteracted by anti-venoms and the Serp Visi, you now have burn, which is counteracted by the Lava Visage and by anti-fire potions. Would this be applicable to NPCs? Is this burn like poison, where it ticks down? Is it like venom, where it ticks up? Or is it something totally new, where it applies like a random damage point between like 2 and 8, and it just consistently burns that same spot at that same damage for X amount of time? Like, could that be a new meta for some Slayer tasks where you open up with a Dark Bow spec on some of the monsters? Like, that's pretty cool. Dark Bows.
Other things could be like more vulnerable. I don't know, like a leafy. I'm just trying to think of Pokemon. Like,
now I was gonna say, now we're getting into Pokemon, baby. Ice Warriors,
like
Ice Warriors, and Ents are screwed.
Yep. And the hit splat could be like tinted orange and lava looking. That would be sick. Not red, because red is the damage splat normally, but
yeah, they have to find a new. Well, like if you look at some bosses, like healing has a new icon now, and so does shield damage. So maybe they'd put like a little flame icon or something for the damage splat. That'd be cool. Dark bows are used in PKing because the Dark Bow special attack, I believe, gives a minimum hit for both arrows.
Oh.
So I believe the minimum hit is like a 9 or something. So it's like a guaranteed 8 or a 9. And it's not uncommon to PK with that as like kind of like a KO weapon, almost like a really, really, really poor man's KO weapon, as opposed to like the heavy ballista or the AGS. We're also in a couple of discords who go darkbow PKing as a group sometimes, where you'll just mob people with like 20 darkbows, and at that point there's no getting out of it. 20 darkbow specs, that's just too much damage to out eat. So that's a cool upgrade to a piece of, quite honestly, dead content.
Yeah.
So like that's super cool. And then finally, Theramon's lava attachment. Theramon? Yeah. Thamoron.
Oh, okay.
I knew I pronounced that incorrectly. Thamoron's lava attachment. Combine with Thamoron Scepter to give it a chargeable lava spell that applies burn. Charges it with lava and wrath runes and Volku essence. That's pretty cool. That's a lava rune sink.
Hell yeah.
Not as big as we would need for the amount of lava runes that come to the game, but I also don't think it's that important.
And another use for the scepter that no one knew about until today.
What I am interested in is whether or not this could be used on other players. A majority of chargeable staves cannot be used on other players. The wilderness weapons have a special feature where they have boosted damage against anything in the wilderness, including other players. That's why people with crossbows will fight back in a 1v1. Because a crossbow can slap the shit out of you if you're not paying attention. Like, it hits hard. But if this kind of takes that away from the ability for the Thamoron Scepter to do that, you know, does it make it worse in a PvP situation? How does it work when you die in PvP? How applicable is it at some of these bosses? You know, a trend in Old School RuneScape that we've seen a lot of since the game came out. Bosses drop items that are efficient at that boss.
Yep.
See the Scythe of Atur, see the Twisted Bow, the Toxic Blowpipe, the Serpentine Visage, the Dragonfire Ward. Any boss that's come out probably since Abyssal Sire, you know, hell, even like the first bosses that came into the game with like Kraken giving you the Trident to make it a lot easier to kill that boss with because it was weak to magic.
Yeah.
You know, it made it easier to kill the boss. So is Volku going to be a dragon who's weak to magic? Who knows?
That would be cool.
I imagine Volku wouldn't take burn damage though. So would the lava spell be the best choice? Who's to say?
Again,
dragons
all
aren't
work in
really
progress.
Dragons aren't really like magic susceptible, yeah?
I don't think they are.
They're weak to range and stab, I believe.
I mean, I killed a bunch of dragons on my Iron Man with fire strike, so they do it. You can get the job done.
We're talking about killing dragons efficiently because a point that you kind of mentioned and breezed over, and when I saw it, I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck? They're proposing Volku to be a higher GP per hour than Vorkath, which is the most consistent money in the game, period. Not the best money, the most consistent. Yeah, it is really hard to get a shitty drop from Vorkath because the bones alone are worth a decent amount of money.
This is also in a multi-combat area in one of the deepest parts of the wilderness. So again, risk and reward. I think that's the whole theme in this place is like, I'm not going to go there unless it's going to be worth it. And having higher GP than Vorkath, you're talking what, like Vorkath is probably 2 mil an hour on average. So maybe 1.5. I think it's 1.5. So you're looking at 1.5 to 2 mil an hour at Vorkath. This could technically be 4 mil an hour, but you're risking.
It's like more than Theater of Blood, dude.
You're risking big money being so deep in the wilderness, having it be multi-combat. So say you get a really nice drop. Say you get a lava visage, and those puppies are like 40 mil. Well, you're in multi-combat, and it just got broadcast to the entire area that you got a visage. Now you're being hunted, and you can't teleport out without taking damage.
That is pretty cool. So Vorkath apparently with the Dragon Hunter Lance, Vorkath is 4.1 mil per hour. So the things that are above it are Nex, TOB, Corrupted Gauntlet, Fazani's Nightmare, and Alchemical Hydra.
Wow.
And most of those bosses are if you get a drop. Because Nightmare, if you don't get a drop, you have to pay money. Next, if you don't get a drop, you usually have to pay money because, like, small team Next, from what I understand, Theater of Blood isn't the worst money in the world, but also it's much nicer if you get a drop. They also have growing magic saplings on here, which is apparently the second best money maker in the game right now.
What?
That seems a little out of place, but you know, a wilderness moneymaker on par with Corrupted Gauntlet is pretty cool. The next highest wilderness moneymaker, not Corp, because Corp isn't a wilderness boss, you cowards. The next highest wilderness boss,
I'm gonna
Last Man Standing, doesn't count. I'm gonna guess Vedion because of the. Oh no! Look at that. We were both wrong. Callisto is the next highest at 1.6 million.
An hour?
An hour.
Wow.
Didn't know that. The ring probably helps that a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah. Wow. That's.
So this would be up there. This would be higher than 4 mil an hour. But are they talking about like the most efficient GP per hour? We don't know. They're just saying higher than Vorkath. Maybe their idea of higher GP per hour than Vorkath was in line with what I was thinking, because that's probably the most average player's GP per hour is like 2, maybe 3 mil.
Yeah.
Because you're probably looking at the data from, okay, these are the most efficient players. They did like 4 hours of Vorkath and they had X amount of money, and we'll call it a day.
Yeah.
So
you also gotta imagine that, like, Vorkath, you take Torva, Salve, Infernal Cape. If you're on task with an Infernal Cape, you take a Slayer helmet over a Salve. You've got Ferocious Gloves, Prims, Dragon Hunter Lance, a Vernic Defender. I am not thinking people are going to take all that to the Wilderness.
No.
So,
no.
Trying to get Vorkath level money per hour in basically what I wear to KBD, which is a Blood Fury. Yes, a Blood Fury. A Dragon Hunter Lance and a DFS.
Oof.
Like,
I'm worried about clan protection at this point. Like, if you're making 5 mil an hour, how much is it going to cost you for clan protection in that area to say, hey, if you get a drop, you're not going to get jumped? Just something to think about. So, moving on. So this isn't the 4-hour episode. This is fun. So, all in all, I'm excited about Volku. I would love to see, if nothing else passes, that's like up there with what I would like to see in the game, because he looks sick. If not for the content, the boss, like the proposed boss, looks sick. But moving down into the southern area, we have the Rat Enclave, which in parentheses, they've just put Rat Boss. It's a rat riding a rat that swaps weapons and uses the overhead prayers. Single area, and the boss is made to imitate a PKer. So you'd have the same kind of fight you would get if you were, you know, battling somebody where randomly they're going to switch weapons. And now they're... this is terrible. And I apologize to any, you know, potential J-Mod that's listening. But, like, did Jagex just adopt somebody who learned how to code an LMS bot and was like, hey, we need you for the team. You're going to code our new... You're going to code our new rat boss.
You know how smart that would be? If they hired people who made those bots and were like, not anymore, you son of a bitch. You're working for us.
You work for us now.
Which is obviously dangerous, because you're going to end up with like a mod reach or a mod jeb situation at that point. But, you know, I don't think that would be a bad idea, actually, having people who know how to code PKers. You said it was meant to imitate a PK. My first thought is, oh, good. So now some asshole rat's gonna ice barrage me and run around a tree for 15 seconds while I'm sitting there, dick in hand, no way to respond. I'm gonna get DD'd by a boss in Old School RuneScape. I'm gonna snap my keyboard in half. If I get frozen and this son of a bitch walks underneath me to log out and just disappears, I'm done. I'm done.
Can you imagine? I also, and I don't know if we'll cover this at all, but I haven't seen any other information. I've heard tell that there's also going to be like NPCs scattered around this area that will like imitate PKers. And I thought the same thing. I thought, are these going to be coded like the LMS bots?
Like how good are they gonna be? Because like some
Like-
LMS bots are shit, and they'll sit there. LMS bots in general will read your overhead prayers over anything, so you can like keep protect from mage up or protect from range, and they'll attack you with a different style.
Mm-hmm.
But they won't pay attention to your offensive thing.
Oh.
So if you're using protect from mage and they're attacking you with range, you attack them with melee and you just wipe them out
Yeah.
because they're thinking they're doing the right thing. Other LMS bots move like Torvesta and Otoblock, and it's horrifying. So, you know,
It's a give and take. I think I was listening to a bunch of commentary about these updates, and somebody was theorizing that there could be like different level brackets for these NPCs that run around in PKU. So it's just a fun way of like, if you're not finding a fight as a PKer, then you just jump an NPC and call it a day.
Mhm.
So we almost forgot the most important part of this rat boss, and that is the drop idea. So it's called a rat pack, and it's an item that transmogs you into a rat for 3 seconds and creates 2 decoy rats running in 2 different directions. The item will disappear upon use and have a cooldown. The decoys disappear after 1 hit. So you're just imagine with me, you're running away from a PKer, and you deploy the rat pack.
Mhm.
Suddenly, there's 3 rats just on the ground, scurrying away, tiny little click boxes, and you're one of them. And the PKer doesn't know which one is which. And you have now a 66% chance. Is that 66 or 33? Math is hard. You have a percentage chance now to actually get away, because now they're going to have to pick one. And that one that they pick may not be you. And that's amazing. So I don't know. I would love to have this item just to troll people. Like you're obviously risking money, and now you just deploy the rat pack, and they're like, crap, I don't know which one he is. So they just go after the one they think it is. Maybe it's not you. I freaking love that idea, dude.
My question is, can you log out as a rat?
It's 3 seconds. So I don't know. Like,
but like, so hear me out. You're being chased by a PKer, and you exit the Revenant caves. You exit the Revenant caves, and he or she exits a couple seconds behind you. In the time frame between you exiting and them exiting, you turn into a rat and you run away somewhere in the wilderness, or like where they're not paying attention, right? And they have that 3 seconds of like, what the hell? Can you log out as a rat?
I would think so.
Can you teleport as a rat? I love this idea. I think it's ridiculous and really funny, and I want it in the game. But if I'm gonna escape as a rat, I need to know that I can escape as a rat. You know what I'm saying? So
I think the idea is like becoming the rat gives you some sort of a lead. You have a gap now, hopefully, that you didn't have before, because there's 3 directions now these rats are going off in, and you, as one of them, get to pick, I guess, which way you go. I don't know. It just seems like so much fun. If nothing else passes, can we please have the rat boss? One of the last places that we'll go over is the Forbidden Revenant ruins.
bold of you not to talk about the rat slippers. Bold
that
of you
real?
to breeze over. Yes, bold of you to breeze over the rat slippers.
I'm missing something because I did not see that.
It's on the thing I've got right now. It's got the rat pack. It's got stun javelins, which stun for 2 game ticks. Doesn't seem incredibly helpful, but okay. And then rat slippers. And the description of rat slippers is, you know it. That's it. That's all it is.
I apologize. I should not have skipped over that. It wasn't on my my thing, the thing that I was looking at. So Can you imagine the new best in slot being rat slippers? I would love that. They already have like frog slippers that nobody talks about. Frog slippers are just like nobody talks about frog. I'm wearing mole slippers in game right now.
Yeah.
You catch me 99% of the time I'm logged in, I'm wearing mole slippers. Yeah, I might have to switch to rat slippers. You never know. New fashionscape item for RuneFest. Let me just tell you.
Scape's gonna be up there on the hill going, "You were the chosen one." You switched out of the mole slippers and something new.
It'll be the new fashion in Gielinor. I did want to have this aside real quick, just so we can have it like documented. At the time of recording of this podcast, the Theremin Scepter is 3.7 mil. If any of this gets pulled and or even passes a poll, I guarantee you the scepter's going up at least to 20 mil. So you know what I'm going to be buying.
Wait for a couple of weeks when Michael says, "Well, guys, I lost 20 mil on Theramon scepters."
I'm going to have my entire cash deck. It's going to be Theramon scepters. Like, hey, guys, I'm either really rich or really poor coming up in the next few months. So moving on finally to the Forbidden Revenant runes. I'm not seeing a ton of stuff on my little piece of paper, like picture that I got pulled up, but we can only assume it's a new Revenant area that's also multi-combat.
I've got it pulled up here.
Okay.
This shit is whack. The caves are locked to begin with. This resets each month. The caves are connected to the resource area via channel of magical energy. Oh, these sons of bitches. Activity in the resource area generates energy, which is used to power the connection and open the caves. They said if you want to go to Revenants, you have to skill.
Wow.
They said once enough energy has been granted, the caves unlock, and it's world specific with one entrance open at a time that changes every couple of minutes.
Wow.
So there's 3 potential entrances, only one's open at a time, that rotates, and all exits are functional. So you can exit from anywhere, but you can only enter from one place. They have better loot and still require 150k feed to enter.
Oh
so
my gosh.
They really said, chop yo trees, mine yo rocks, fish yo crabs, or else you don't get good GP per hour. That is actually kind of genius. We're making fun of it, but that is the most like old school RuneScape, and I mean like 2007, perfectly balanced as all things should be, way to make money they have thought of possibly ever since the conception of this new old game.
Right. I'm wondering, is it going to be it's world specific, okay? So then is it suddenly available if enough people do it? Or am I hearing it correctly that you yourself would need to go to the resource area and get the energy?
I think it's like a world
first one
thing. Yeah, I think it's like everyone has to contribute, but it resets every month. So like, come May 1st, the caves are going to be locked again. How quickly is it going to be opened? Like, how much is it going to take?
What if it took like 2 weeks? That would be insane.
You know how crazy that would be if the rates were just like so like off the chain that they were like, no, everybody has to be in the resource area.
Yeah. Well, because
in order to get it working,
like more popular worlds, like maybe 302, if there's just a ton of people in that world, maybe a good majority of them are going to be in the resource area. So maybe there'll be clans that like rush a certain world and then they keep that world locked down. That could be a tactic. Or you could just have like, this is the resource world now, and then that changes. Like there's a Discord that gets made and says, this is the resource area for this world. This is the world for the resource area this week, and then it consistently changes until all of the worlds are open by the end of the month. I don't know. That sounds cool. I like that.
That'd be pretty cool. I think it kind of opens up the avenue of like, oh no, that's like monthly scape. We have to go. It's like the Citadel in RS3 where we have to go cap every day. I think it would actually be kind of fun, right? Get all the boys in TNL out. We got our skillers, we got our PVMers, we got our PKers and our anti-PKers. Everyone's out there just cutting trees like the good old days. Because later that week, we're going to Revenants, baby. Like, we're having a group Revenants day. Before, like, a bingo. You know how cool that would be?
Yeah.
Like, the week before bingo starts, like, all right, on World 514, the clan's homeworld, we're going to go to the resource area and do all this stuff to open up the Revenant caves because there may or may not be a tile for those Revenant caves on the board.
Frick. And we would have to coordinate the start of bingo to figure out when it's going to close and when it's going to be open.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, that'd be so cool, though. You know how fun that would be?
It'd
That,
be
like,
cool.
extra little effort. Dude, that, like, this has mad potential to be a super fun, super dangerous update.
With
know?
Increased risk and reward. Obviously, like we've been
Wow.
talking about this whole time. So I think one of the last things, Oxie may have more information because he has some sort of picture that I'm not seeing.
I just pulled it from Mod Soften's Twitter account.
Okay.
I'll level with you. I'm looking at what she posted. I don't know.
The one that I think there's a new bounty hunter area, but we'll save that for a minute. There's going to be skull implings that will spawn randomly around this area of the wilderness, and they'll be level 78 to catch with a net in a jar, or level 88 to bare hand. So pretty high requirement on that one, but the unique drop table would be black chinchompas, a Laronski, and forgive me if I said that incorrectly, or lava dragon bones. So I'm just excited for the idea of like all of these wilderness locked accounts just having way more content that's like suddenly available to them. Because like you train hunter in the wilderness, what you have like black chins and black salamanders,
and maybe black salamanders.
I mean, how do you even get to level 78 in the wilderness alone? I don't think it's possible. You have to make some sort of exception for yourself to say, anytime I train hunter until like the 70s, it's got to be outside the wilderness. Because what, are you going to lamp it? That sounds terrible.
That's hell.
Yeah, no.
Lamp a million XP.
No one wants to lamp a million XP when you get 10% of your 10% of your level every time. So that sounds fun. I think it would be really cool to catch them, and they're untradeable. This is a hot take potentially, or just like an old man hot take, but I really think that all implings should have been untradeable. It just makes certain content easier. Coming from a person who has used eclectic implings in the past to get medium clues, I still think they should have all been untradeable. Any new impling that they've implemented into the game has become untradeable upon release, and that's like
all two of them.
Yes. So
I think it's a necessary evil, because when they did the initial clue scroll expansion with master clues and beginner clues and all that, master clues would suck to get. Because if you're someone like me who's like not killing monsters that drop medium or easy clues, implings are great. So I think it's very much like it would be cool if they were untradeable, because then it would kind of make the loot that much more special, you know? But at the same time, I would hate if they suddenly became untradeable now.
Yeah. That would just, I mean, it would just bring down the price of all the other stuff that, you know, you would really have to scrutinize the unique drop table if it was tradable. I think the reason that implings become, like, implings can stay in the game as they are as tradable rewards, is like the only thing you're really getting unique is a clue scroll.
They drop garbage otherwise.
They're just terrible.
Trash. Yeah.
I mean, Dragon Imp's not too bad if you're an Iron Man and you're hunting.
Dragon Imps are also like 90k though.
No, Dragon Imps are like almost 400k
to buy. Ass, they're that much. Come on now.
They're 376k if I remember correctly.
387k.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, I mean, it's worth it to catch them and sell them, but it would just like crash the value of black chins if you could just spam open, 1,000 of these, and you're getting an entire inventory of Laronskis and lava dragon bones and black chinchompas.
What I'm hoping for with the black chin drop, because you brought up a really good point right before we started recording. Why are you having to get a higher hunter level to get a hunter reward from a lower hunter level.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have to counterbalance it by giving you like 50 black gins
Yeah, make it worth
at a
it.
time for these, because like if they're not tradable and you get like 5 black gins, what a waste of time.
All of this
Yeah.
is just, again, the theme here, I think, and this might be the title of the episode. We don't know, but risk and reward. If you're like, I could care less to go catch some chins for this task, or I can't afford to buy some chins for this task because maybe you have a Kree task, but you can run your little booty out into this wilderness area and hope for a skull impling, and then you pop it open and now you suddenly have like 50 to 100 chins. Maybe that's more desirable for you. And again, it's risk versus reward. It's risk and reward. It's more risky to do that, but hey, you just saved yourself some time, or you just saved yourself some GP.
Michael has damn near transitioned us to the next piece of game jam that we want to talk about. Before we go, a couple notable things that we haven't got to touch on, but we are going to breeze over for time's sake. The artifact escort, walk a dude with an artifact, get rewards. TLDR. I think one of the rewards is like a better looting bag. Bounty Hunter Island, yes, please. I never played Bounty Hunter, but I'd be interested to get into it if they rework Bounty Hunter for this Wilderness expansion. Fingers crossed. Finally, which I think is pretty neat, but we don't have much information on, is the world boss. It says a powerful corrupted foe has escaped from the God Wars dungeon with a combat level of 2,500, almost double Verzix from what we talked about earlier, and 60,000 hit points.
That's 6 with 4 zeros.
Yeah. It spawns in multiple different locations, and it's a location will be announced in a global chat a couple minutes before it spawns. RS3 has these, where it will be like Zamorakian demons are raiding so-and-so, and you go as a group and you kill them for the boss. It says the potential drop table is buffs that can work within the wilderness, kind of like how the 4 and Thry Surge works, I would imagine. And the other one is best in slot PvP upgrades to God Wars dungeon weapons. Notably, a PvP upgrade for God Swords would be pretty cool, because I can't think of anything else that's really used from GWD in the wilderness. Maybe an Armado crossbow?
Thematically, it would fit, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's the potential wilderness expansion. That's super cool. I'm excited. Now it's time for me to talk about the other thing, which we're going to try to do quickly, because compared to the wilderness expansion, there's not nearly as much on there, which is both good for the sake of the episode, but bad for the sake of like more. Like, I want more. Mod Husky and a team of people that have been working with Mod Husky. Let's see on here. Husky, Elena, Arcane, Rye, Halo, Jerv, and Brow have been working on the Tescal trials. So the Tescal are those like big rock dudes in Mount Carolum. And it's a wave-based combat minigame. You know, it's one of those like, it's not the most original plan, but we know it'll work for best in slot items kind of thing. Only this one's significantly shorter. From what I've seen it described on Husky's Twitter, it's basically like there are 12 waves split into 3 sections. The first 4 waves are akin to people who like, you have a fire cape. Could be anybody. Wave 5 through 8, probably where I sit right now, where you don't have an Infernal Cape, but you're good at the game. You can pretty much do... It says competent at PVM, which I'd be interested to know what their definition of that is. Because waves 9 through 12 are aimed at people capable of obtaining an Infernal Cape, which also can be a broad definition, because I believe I'm capable of obtaining an Infernal Cape. I'm not capable of doing it at the speed and grace with which some people we know can do it. So, like, what's your definition there? Basically, they're offering some best in slot upgrades that can be upgraded throughout the different wave completions. They're offering some little tradable rewards that have a higher chance to drop towards the end, which is super cool. There's a pet, which is sick. I'm excited to see what the boss waves look like with the pet. There's a, as they say, potentially consumable item to provide more consistent money used for something. I don't know what that could be, but playing off of the Melvor Idol model, there are items in the game that you can get from thieving that like reduce the prices of items in shops. And I think it would be pretty cool if it was like a consumable something, you got like a bountiful scroll or something, or a production scroll, and then for the next like 200 items, you process them at half the speed, or you process two at a time. You know, maybe use Smith cannonballs faster. I don't know if it's going to give XP because it says more consistent money, so I'm not sure what that could be money wise. Maybe it's like a luck ring. Finally, who knows?
Yeah.
Like an upgrade to the Ring of Wealth. They have said what kind of makes this unique. It's not the Inferno. It's not tick perfect, path perfect. You have to be so good at this game to complete it. It's more of like, it's just hard from the get-go. They've described it as like, there's no filler content. There's no filler waves. Like, off the rack, it's going to be hard for those levels.
Yep.
It says, after each non-boss wave, the player must select either a debuff to themselves or a buff to the enemy. Ooh. So like, after every wave, so like wave 1, 2, 3, you have to pick some sort of debuff, which could be like prayers drain twice as quickly. You have like double special attack or double HP regen. Your stats constantly drain, kind of like Burn and Chambers of Zarek. This is not on the little thing here that I'm looking at. These are just ideas I have for debuffs or buffs to enemies. The most notable off the top of my head being like a damage reduction buff, which would suck. Like, that'd be such a bad one to pick.
There is right here, they've got like a mock-up of what like the wave screen could look like. They have 3 proposals. An immortal wraith follows you in the arena, and that's probably akin to, this is so that you can't just camp one spot. Maybe this wraith is really going to damage you, but it's probably slow. I don't know. The first time I saw that, I thought, oh, is that going to help you? Is this wraith on your side? But it's probably not. Level down, your maximum health is decreased by 30%. Or lucky hits, where monsters get lucky accuracy. So it's going to make it harder. You just get to choose how hard it's going to be. And these are all randomized.
Maybe something like the Immortal Wraith will be like, kind of like how Nex's like Cover Me in Darkness attack is or whatever, where you kind of like, the closer you get to the darkness of Nex, the higher her attacks are. So maybe this Wraith follows you like that, so you really can't just sit in one spot. Who knows? Yeah. So like, that's actually those are cool ideas for debuffs. In addition to that, every boss wave, the player receives a buff that can help carry them through the rest of it. So maybe there's a buff that's like, you get infinite thralls, or you have a damage boost, or it's like an overload potion, or maybe they do like an absolutely cracked one, and there's a super rare chance to get like a trailblazer boost where you have like double the attack speed for a couple of waves.
That would be cool.
That'd be a cool buff. It basically is kind of like, I think RS3 has dungeons similar where rewards can be collected after each wave that you complete, or they can be gambled for more rewards on the next wave, which is not something Old School has right now. This is a pretty cool way to, I guess, gamble in game, if that makes sense. Because Lord knows, with no duel arena, people have not been doing much gambling outside of trying to get their cape related pets.
Right.
Larger rewards from higher waves, obviously. And then it says here that there's an emphasis on decision making and strategy more so than the tick perfect stuff like we talked about earlier. This is pretty cool. They use the monsters from Mount Carolum in there. So they'll use hydras, drakes, and worms, basically.
I really like that. I think that's great decision making as far as, well, what are you going to put in there? Oh, they're just Tescal looking monsters that already exist. They're not trying to get super fancy.
Yeah. Which is, it's really cool that they're doing that, because that's exactly what they did with the Inferno. They took a lot of the models from the fight caves and revamped them to look similar but different, and that's what they're
Edgy.
doing with these. Yeah, and the models from Mount Carolum are beautiful as they are.
Yeah.
We've got some, for as shitty as a Slayer task as Drakes are, they look great,
Mhm.
Hydra is a beautiful model. Worms are a very cool model, even if they're admittedly a little weird in how they move.
Yeah.
To cap this off, the trials will be split into 3 defined sections: life, death, and immortality, which have to be completed in succession. So, another cool thing that they're not doing, that RS3 opted to do, there are no checkpoints. Notably, I'm
Yeah.
talking about RS3's Inferno. There are no checkpoints. So, if you complete life and death, but you can't finish immortality, you don't get to start at immortality. You have to complete them all going through. A lot like how the
Mhm.
wave-based mini games are based now. Even like Barbarian Assault. I guess that one saves your progress, but that's more of an inconvenience than like an actual notable progress save,
Yeah.
But if you die in the fight caves on wave 62, you don't go back into the fight caves at wave 62. If that were the case, I would have had my Infernal Cape months ago.
Right.
Holy shit. At the time I died on like wave 59 or something, 58, whatever my PB is, high
Yeah.
50s. God, that would be so nice. So yeah, it's similar to the fight caves in the Inferno, but a little bit different. And the rewards are vague as shit.
Yeah.
I think Husky pretty much said that like, we're not giving any information on rewards because we want to focus on the content itself.
Yeah. I mean, that's the emphasis right here.
So-
The emphasis is not like, what am I going to get out of it? Their whole idea was, how can we make content and then worry about what you're getting out of it later?
Yeah. They have some rough ideas, and I think they know exactly what they want to do.
Mhm.
It's not like the Wilderness Agility Course XP rates where they're like, eh. I think they have an idea what they want to do for items, but they just aren't going to tell us yet.
I'm concerned, and this is probably addressed somewhere, but I'm concerned that waves 1 through 4 are just going to be like farmable. But the more logical side of me says, if you can't make it through 1 through 4, you're not just leaving. Like, it's 1 through 12 or nothing. So I don't know. I think it's going to be 1 to 12, and if you die in between, you're done. Not like you can just get the rewards from 1 through 4 and keep running through those waves and just exiting.
No, that's how that's gonna work.
Okay.
It literally, you
That's
can
problematic.
So basically, after every wave, you can gamble your rewards for the next wave, or you can take the money and run. That said, I think it's gonna work on like an exponential rate of increase.
Yeah.
Where like waves 1 through 4, 50K, cool, good job.
Mm-hmm.
Waves 1 through 12, 800K, cool. If you get the reward at all.
Yeah.
Because what they're kind of talking about here, an untradeable best in slot item, which upgrades after beating the boss on waves 4, 8, and 12. So kind of like, picture a fire cape that gets upgraded to fire cape 1, fire cape 2, fire cape 3. I don't think they'll use a cape for this. A tradable best in slot item obtained as a rare drop from the standard loot, becoming more common in the later waves. The potentially consumable moneymaker and the pet. I think this is meant to be farmed, unlike the fight caves in the Inferno, where like technically you only have to do it once.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, without a K has been defeated by McLovin 3 in the Wilderness.
Oh no.
Perhaps they should stick to skilling.
Oh no.
Jagex, you don't gotta be that brutal. Without a K is in the recording booth chat with us right now. Zach, I'm so sorry that Jagex just like put you on blast in front of everybody like that. Not only do they put you on blast in front of the entire clan, they put you on blast in the podcast because we're leaving this in. Like, that's brutal. He said in the recording booth chat, right? I just want prayer levels.
Oh, no.
He didn't even lose anything. Oh. He just got killed up there. That is absolutely savage. Oh man.
They were doing skilling. That's the funny
exactly.
part.
They were skilling too. Like, off him, Jagex. Off him. But Yeah, I'm excited for the Tescal trials. I think it is meant to be farmable, like I was saying, unlike the fight caves in the Inferno, where technically you can only do it once and be done.
Yeah.
And just never. Well, technically you have to do the fight caves twice to get into the
Mm.
Inferno, but like in any case, you can only have to do it once.
Maybe I'm just thinking about it all wrong. Like I'm trying to think of it like a fight cave experience, but it's the Tescal trials. There's nothing saying this is like a port of a fight caves where, like you said, you only do it once. It's going to take you like 45 to an hour. I mean, waves 1 through 4 could be like 5 minutes per wave. Maybe it's 20 minutes. Maybe you could make, 150K per 1 through 4, and then that's 600K an hour. That's not bad. And that's not that broken.
I'm expecting almost like less of a fight caves and more of like what Chambers of Zarek and Theater of Blood look like in between instances.
Mm-hmm.
So like you defeat Sodaseg, you go to the chest, you get shit, you go to the next room.
Yeah.
You defeat Zarpus, you get your shit together, you go to the next room.
It's like Call of
And then
Duty
when
Zombies.
Yeah, well, Zombies is more akin to like fight caves where you get like 2 seconds worth of break.
Mhm.
Occasionally you get something spicy. You're not prepared and you hear "fetch me their souls" and you're like, Jesus Christ, I'm out of scales in my blowpipe. You're not ready. But I'm thinking this is going to be more akin to like you have that menu time to like select your buffs and debuffs.
Mhm.
You have the opportunity to like slow down a little bit and kind of catch your breath in between waves and like what rewards do I want? Like, is it time for me to go? Maybe you'll get super spooned and you'll get like a twisted bow level item on like wave 3. And at that point, you're like, I'm out of here. I'm not risking this. I'm leaving, So I think it's going to be more paced probably to like Theater of Blood or Chambers of Zarek, where you go through a couple minutes of pretty intense combat. But then you have time to kind of pull your head above water and kind of reassess what you're doing, which is, in my opinion, much better than dun 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 dun, dun and then the monster spawn immediately. I like that a lot better myself, but I'm also bad at the Inferno, so
You're not bad at the Inferno. I'm excited. This is cool. I would love to do this. So, Husky, if you're listening, I wish you the best in this as far as getting it in the polls and future iterations.
Or not getting it in the polls and making it an integrity change. Think about it.
Please. All right, what's next?
I think we've got some honorable mentions because we're pushing a long episode this time. I know people are going to be really excited about this one. They love their long episodes, kind of a return to form for Xpwaste a little bit these next couple of weeks. But it kind of says here on the wiki, other projects that people have been kind of vague about. Garden of Death is a God, what is it? Like a Kebos Tale or something? Tales from the Kurend.
Yeah.
Oh God, I have it here somewhere. I looked up the GameJam hashtag.
Here's a question for you while you're looking up that. If Mod Ash is God Ash, is Mod Ed Demigod Ed? Because he's like on that level of legendary in my book of just like the lore guy.
He's the quest guy, the lore guy. I mean, he could be.
I would call him a demigod.
He could be part of the Jagex pantheon.
God Ed. We're calling it now.
Twisted Tales. That's what it's called. Twisted Tales. So he's working on a new quest with Garden of Death. We love when he works on quests.
Yes.
We've got the Stamina Potion Bridge, which is Mod West and Mod Lenny. All we know is it's a picture of a long bridge and a lot of stamina potions.
Funny thing about that is to run the entire thing, to keep on running from one end to the other, you need exactly 28 stamina potions worth of run energy. So it's long.
I feel like you have to like use them properly too.
Yes. So like one dose every minute or whatever, how long a dose lasts. Like
yeah, it's like
consistent.
Resource management at its finest. Which like that's like a 50-minute endeavor to run across a bridge because every stamina potion is 2 minutes, and if you have to take a sip every time it runs out, you're gonna spend an hour on this bridge just for someone, like, you'll get to the other side and then you like talk to an NPC who just says, I'm never gonna give you up, I'm never gonna let you down, and you quit the game right there. Like, that's an integrity change we need for noobs.
Can you imagine it's an instance thing, and maybe you have there's literally no information on this bridge. We're just theorizing. So like if you did take 28 stamina potions, take perfect, drink them the entire time, and you ran the entire time, and maybe there was an NPC that ran next to you, and if suddenly this NPC got ahead of you, at the end of the bridge you got nothing, but maybe if you beat the NPC to the end of the bridge, because it could be like an instanced area where you literally could be running for 28 stamina potions worth of time. Like you get a cool pair of like cosmetic shoes or something at the end. I don't know, like little wing-tipped white graceful looking shoes, but they're more epic looking and they do nothing for you. Because I was thinking like you get a gauntlet style cape, like your one completion and you get a cape, but there are so many capes in this game. I don't think we need any more just like silly cosmetic capes. So shoes would be cool, but yeah, I would do it. 50 minutes of wasted time, please.
Maybe it's like a graceful override, but it's like a Sonic the Hedgehog. like that
giant.
That's what it, or like a speed racer helmet. It's a speed racer helmet, you know, but it's like it's a graceful cosmetic, so it still works like graceful.
Speed racer made me think of like, you know how they have skis in the game, and now you have like a box thing that you can what if you just like put on a ring and it puts a little toy race car at your feet, and now you're suddenly like driving a little race car around?
That'd be so off the wall and stupid. I want it. This whole project seems off the wall and stupid, but we love it.
It's like the culmination of every single time there's like a meme that happens on Reddit. Everybody's like, can we put a bridge from this place to this place and slap the Grand Exchange right in the middle of it? I don't know.
Yeah. Another thing I saw on Twitter, Mod Sarni looks like he's working on some sort of trading card thing for Old School RuneScape, which would be pretty cool. I don't know if he's talking about like a card game to play against other people, like a TCG, or I don't know if it's like character cards, kind of like from Pokemon Shield, where you could like make a character card. I think both those options would be super cool. Like I don't play TCGs, but I would gladly collect RuneScape trading cards. Like that'd be so cool. Have a little binder like right back there of all my RuneScape cards.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But then also like to be able to customize my own player card. Hear me out, right? This is where it's gonna get spicy. Maybe, right? Maybe this is how they implement microtransactions.
Oh no,
for RuneScape.
Where's your tinfoil hats?
Microtransactions are going to be beneficial in the long term. If they don't do microtransactions, at some point, membership is just going to keep increasing maliciously for years, right? Maybe they let you buy a bunch of stupid shit just for your trading card to look cool. It doesn't affect the game. It doesn't affect how you look. There's not dumbass wings and shit. There's not pets that don't mean anything like an RS3. There's not, you know, stupid emotes. I literally logged into RS3 and got a free T-Rex pet. I don't even know why it happened. I selected some like Premier Club something because I buy Premier Club for my accounts. And I don't know. I have the stupid, I guess. I don't know what it is. But I now have a T-Rex named like Boney or something following me around.
Yo, I'm looking at these cards. I'm going to throw a picture of this one of the cards on screen right now. These cards look sick. I don't know. When you said something about trading cards, I'm like, no, but like he's just taking items that are already in the game, like the white bead, and just having it be like a silly little card. I mean, listen, we're talking money, Jagex. Print these out, put them in a binder, put them in like a shadow box. I'm your man. I'm buying these. They're going on my wall.
Maybe it's kind of like you collect the cards from around the game. Like there's a certain kind of like a collection log, but for trading cards. So you have to like collect items to like find trading cards. Like if you kill an imp and you get a white bead, you get a white bead trading card. Like dumb. I don't know. That's cool. I
Wait,
don't think it's a completed idea. I just think it's fun. You know.
I'm reading now because these are actually this is actually a game. Like it says, okay, for the white bead, it's an immediate use, and it says you may only have one of these cards in your deck. You may
Yeah.
only play this card if you have a black bead, yellow bead, and red bead in your hand. Discard them all, and destroy all active equipment on your opponent. So this is sick, dude.
Yeah, like this.
Sarni,
could
bro.
be-
Come on, man.
It's got mad potential, Sarni. That's got mad potential.
So you got to think, like, in development right now, they have the tabletop RPG. This is just a simpler way of doing that. You take items in the game that are arguably nostalgic, and you throw them on a card, and you give them some such special effect that is not related to the game, so people can't just be like, oh, that's stupid. Like, you're taking the beads that are from a kind of a silly quest that everybody does, and you're giving them a really cool use in a card game.
Mm-hmm.
I was not on board with this until I looked it up, and I'm glad I did. This is cool. I really like this.
I think it's stupid. I think it's fun. I think it's more of what we need in OSRS, more stupid fun. Finally, what some people have called the most important part of the OSRS game jam. There is a very real possibility that finally, after all these years, we finally get pet dogs.
Yay!
In OSRS. Oasis tweeted that we have got 6 dogs, all 6 dogs from 2008 that came alongside Summoning, and Skylark, one of the artists, is working on more. That's just fun. I don't know how they're going to introduce the dogs. I remember they talked a little bit a couple months ago about like a Gertrude's Cat sequel where it's like Bertrude's dog or something and you have to like help a guy get his dog back and you get like a puppy from there because like these dogs were introduced via the summoning skill.
Yeah,
so obviously that's not gonna work here. I think it's just fun. I don't give a shit. I don't have another opinion. It's fun. If you're adding more pets, I would like a calico cat. Like a true calico cat would be cool. Speaking of, she's beating at the door trying to get in. I think a calico would be cool, but these dogs are real cute. I'm not gonna lie. These dogs are real cute. Real nostalgic and real cute.
I have on my original RS3 account, which back in the day I played on RS2. I have a Dalmatian. And I guess until now I forgot how I got it, but it's from summoning. So it'd be really cool. I'd be totally down. One of the things that I'm excited about when it comes to dogs is they showed this little GIF of somebody running on a bridge and the dog started running behind it. So like it picked up speed as your character was running. And I tweeted at whoever it was from my Bloodhound account. I'm like, can the original Good Boy also get an update to where they can run? The original Good Boy being the Bloodhound pet.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. He is slow as hell, and he doesn't keep up very well. So it'd be cool if they updated other pets to have a run animation as well, since it's been proven that it can be done. I think the next pet. This is just a theory, and I don't know if it's correct. You guys can at me or whatever. I'm pretty sure the next pet, NEX, runs with you if you are running. Okay, so it's possible. It's out there. They just need to recode some things, and I think it's possible. I would love that. Because it's been my biggest complaint. Okay, top 5 complaint in this game that pets don't run with you and they just get lagged behind and you're constantly seeing them just reappear and teleport. And like that's not good. That's not a good experience when you work so hard for this pet and like nobody walks in this game. If you're walking, you're a freaking psychopath. And especially nobody walks where it matters.
You're an Iron Man. What are you talking about?
An Iron Man with a spooned pet?
Baby.
Okay, fine. Sure. You're probably walking. But any self-respecting main is not walking in this game. So I can't see a time whenever a walking pet is going to be preferable to a running pet. I'll leave it at that. But no, I'm excited with the prospect of dogs, a quest, little puppies in the game. So cute. I'm a dog person myself. I'm not really big into cats.
I'm not a dog person. That said, I can't wait for dogs in Old School RuneScape.
Again, just to reiterate the reiteration, this is all a work in progress. All of this stuff is theoretical. Nothing is being pulled. So if you're listening, like if you suddenly just like skipped 30 seconds through this whole thing, you're like, I got the gist of it. Hear me now. You're not going to find a poll for any of this, and you're not going to find a blog post for any of this. All of this was like compiled via Twitter and Reddit. So if you'd like to search more, just search a hashtag OSRS GameJam on Twitter, and you can find the mods that were participating. And I'm really, 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 with another really, hoping that this is something that happens more often. Like, whether or not any of this ever gets pulled, I just want the game developers for the game that we love to have more creative freedom to just propose and get their ideas out there.
I think there's going to be 3 more this year.
Cool.
I think a couple of years ago when they brought up these game jams, or in the most recent, I think it was something in like summer 2021, maybe summer 2020, who knows. When they first started talking about game jams, I think they said they wanted to do one once per quarter. And I think that's really cool. Only downside, holy shit, a week without an update, the servers show. I have not had, we could not have picked a worse week for bingo than the week of Game Jam. We were lagging our dicks off everywhere we went. DK's timers were getting thrown off. We were getting flied at TOB. We were lagging real hard, and it was every world was not doing great. So a week without a server update, it is negligible in the grand scheme of all this cool shit that we got. So you're right. I'm very excited. You got anything else for us for real this time? For real good?
For real, that's
Take us to the break then. Take us to the break then, baby.
Okay. If you made it this far, make sure to stick around after this commercial break where we will have some more lovely discussion for you. So guys, we will see you after this.
Hello. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Simon Templeton, owner, operator, sole proprietor, and chief executive officer of Simon Templeton's totally legitimate archaeological expeditions. You've actually caught me out here at an interesting time. I'm doing work for the Varrock Museum, and as a matter of fact, you've come by at just the right time. You see that pyramid? At the top rests a smaller, shinier pyramid. It's not a very tough trek up, but you see, that's my problem. Last time I tried to go up there, I really hurt my back on the way down, so I haven't been feeling up to the climb lately. But that's where you come in. You see, I've got a guy. He's willing to pay top dollar for those pyramid tops. So I'll make you a deal. For every pyramid top you get me, I'll toss you 10,000 gold. That's right, that's a 1 with 4 zeros at the end of it. No diminishing returns, just cold, hard cash. So what do you think? We got a deal? Yep, wait, don't answer that. Just meet me here at my base camp outside the pyramid tomorrow morning. If you get lost on your way over, the pyramid is right next to the edge of the world. Literally, there's nothing there. You stare at the void stares back. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Can't wait to do business with you, partner.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial because I know that I sure did. It is the part of the episode where we are going to shout out our lovely patrons. We appreciate each and every one of you. Starting with the Wise Old Man tier, we have Scape Caution, Elagio, Bolimer, Basket, Benjamin R, Haddad, C. Gladney, Morty, Creamed Ham, Durf Nasty, Drum TXT, Duke Bradley, Flyin' Castiel, Forestry, Fortimus, Ice, Imby Jones, Wallow, Jake W. I know you weren't gonna make it past that one.
God damn it, Brandon.
Jake W, Jordy, Posh Padre, 999, 999, Pooper Cheeks, Russ of Fury, Salted Snake, Shadow, Toast, No Toast, Troll, one of our newest patrons, Tyler H, shout out, and Zach, without a K, which I think is ironically your.
It's also his name
his
without
name.
a K, yeah. He's the one who got killed and Jagex put him on blast.
Hell yeah.
Look at that, full circle.
Thank
Shout it
you.
out twice in one episode.
Thank you, Zach, without a K. All right, and now we want to shout out our lovely, lovely KBD tier, adding the extra lovely for the emphasis here. Starting with my dad, your dad, Oxie's dad, Cookies and MILF, Dr. Draven, Kroll, the legend. Did his team win bingo? I can't remember. No. Former bingo winner Kroll, the Lord Jake, P Joint, our third favorite Patreon subscriber, Ralph, and Spartan Fire. Thank you so much to every single patron. Even if you didn't get shouted out, we have our awesome Gnome Child tier and the Party Pete tier. Everybody over there is enjoying some benefits. Some are listening to extra episodes. So if you want to hop in our Patreon, it's patreon.com/xpwaste. Like I said, in the Party Pete tier or higher, you do get an extra episode each month. So you can listen to Oxie and I talk about some crazy things. This last month, we actually had part 1 of a D&D one-shot campaign that we're doing with a feller named Matt. So if you want to check that out, like I said, patreon.com/xpwaste. The other thing that we have that is XPwaste related is our shop, xpwaste.shop. We don't talk about it a ton, but you can check it out and get yourself some merch. If you do end up posting about the merch on social media, tag us at XPWastePod or podcast in some places. I don't know, it's different. Or just use the hashtag XPWastePodcast. We'd love to see it.
I don't mean to be a kiss ass or a sellout. The hoodie is one of the most comfortable pieces of clothing I've purchased in the last couple of years. I love the hoodie. I'm not a big t-shirt guy these days. So the t-shirt that I got that we used for promoting, not the biggest fan of. I think it fits tight awkwardly in some places. But I also just generally don't love t-shirts. You'll notice I'm normally wearing like athletic, baggy, long sleeve shirts. My gay boy dad shirts. I used to just call them dad shirts. And then Jamie started calling them gay boy shirts. And then I just combined the two because I love them. And at this point, I'm just both. And then, like, just, or cutoffs is another thing I wear a lot of. Don't really wear cutoffs on the podcast too much.
That's too sexy.
Right,
Like,
that's
the
too
podcast
much.
hand. That's like OnlyFans.
You already know where the sleeveless t-shirt content goes. But the hoodie, I wear that bitch everywhere. I think I wore it to the bar one night as a joke of like, I'm gonna wear my podcast hoodie to the bar. I wear that shit everywhere. I'm on an IM soccer team, and I wore my XP Waste hoodie to like the warm up of our soccer game. Which, by the way, if you're 25 and out of shape, do not play IM soccer with college students. Don't. Just don't. In any case, the director who was there, like the little student athletic whoever, was like, "Oh, is that a podcast you like, or is that your podcast?" I'm like, "It's mine. It's mine. We talk about RuneScape. It's my podcast." He's like, "Okay." I'm like, so
I don't think it's wrong, like at all,
Oh,
on any
hell
level,
no.
for podcast people to exclusively wear their merch. Once people get merch, that's all you should wear. Apart from the times when, shout out to MB Jones, when I'm wearing the straight out of Lumbridge shirt that she gave us for no reason at all, just to be a kind human being. She utilized our PO box. Only person to ever do that.
The XP Waste crop top hoodie stays on during sex.
Is that what somebody? I thought you
Nope.
read that in the recording view chat, but
Nope,
nope.
that's from my own head, baby.
Oh man, a funny comment from our recording booth chat and Toast. Toast just said, YouTube demonetizes guns, don't they? I think in reference to the gun show that would show up if you had a crop, a cutoff. Oxie, put them away. We don't get demonetized, bro.
I could slip this.
Bro,
button
put
up.
them away. Put them away, bro. We don't even make money on YouTube anyway.
I was just say, what are you talking about? We don't make money on YouTube. Who gives a shit? No, but yeah, I really like the merch a lot. That's a long-winded way of me saying I unironically enjoy the merch beyond promotional purposes. I didn't think I'd ever find a hoodie more comfortable than my T-Rex hoodie. This is in line with the comfortability of my T-Rex hoodie. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think for me, dude, if and when, because I think I am going to get a second hoodie, I'm going to have to get like a 3X because for me, I like them baggy and I like them like where I can move around. Like if I'm wearing a hoodie, it's because I don't want to, like I want to be comfortable. But the one that I got, the XL, it just feels small. Like it feels tight. I don't know. I'm going to go with like a 2X.
I've found that I am a bigger man these days than I thought I was at a time, but I'm still just as tall. So,
yes.
I have that issue. I've got the 2X. Oh god, I love it.
Right.
It's so comfortable. There's enough room in there, but like here's a problem I experienced with 2X. Like I'm 6'3" and I'm probably pushing 300 pounds. I'm a big dude. The problem is like XL fits size wise because I'm like my torso is long, but because like my torso is long, my weight's distributed. Shirts don't like go past my waistline a lot of the time. One of the reasons why I don't like t-shirts is because they just like sit at my waist. They're not long enough to go over my belt. They don't tuck in. They just sort of sit there. At anytime I move any sort of degree backward, they just ride right up and like sit on the little beer gut that I'm rocking here. Like XLs aren't long enough and 2Xs are long enough, but they're too wide.
You need a healthy medium.
Yeah, I need XLT, which is like pulling teeth to find an XLT anywhere outside of like specifically big and tall. I don't know why people who make clothes are just like, yep, no man will ever be taller than 5'11". Ever. I don't know why anyone who makes clothing lines thinks that way. It's a bad thought.
It's not
Change
great.
it.
Luckily, I've got somewhat of a short torso and I'm still an XL. Like the XL that MB sent us fits beautifully. I've got lots of coverage on the bottom. It's worship approved, as I would say. You can lift your hands up, not see your belly.
That's the most homeschool shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
You know what, man?
You look like a sprinkles guy.
Shut up. Anyway, check out xpwaste.shop for all your merch needs. And listen, if you're out there and maybe you bought a 2X in a hoodie and it doesn't fit you, let me know. Maybe we can trade these. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't really worn my hoodie, so it's still like new condition. I just need a 2X.
Mine's not. I wear that bitch every day that I don't go into internship.
Dude, straight up, I think that anytime you send me a Snapchat video, you're wearing that hoodie. And I'm just
I am either not wearing a ask anyone from TNL who has me on Snapchat. I am either wearing my Xpwaste hoodie or I am not wearing a shirt. Dead ass. It is one of the two.
You have two looks, and these are it. Get over it. Oxie, do we have an achievement of the week this week?
We have several. We have too many. We have 2 weeks of content for achievement of the week, and we just got done with a bingo. So we have so many achievements. Instead of listing them all off one by one, I'm going to do the shitty, selfish content creator who has to wake up in 6 hours for work thing and just not say any of them individually. That said, if you got your first fire cape during bingo, that's huge. If you got your first Zulrah kill, your first Fazani's Nightmare kill, if it was your first time killing a boss period, your first trip to God Wars Dungeon, Dagannoth Kings, bingo is a time to learn new content. And if you got your first KC at a boss, if you got your feet wet doing something that you're not comfortable with, shout out to my team. who got dragged kicking and screaming out into the Revenant caves, fully skulled up with me. And by the end of it, after like 2.5 hours of hunting Revenant Maldictus, we're like, you know what? This isn't too bad. If you were in a situation like that, shout out to the Infernal Procrastinators, by the way. If you're in a situation like that,
It's not biased.
good. I'm proud of you. That's a huge achievement. All the people who cracked off quest capes and 99s, absolutely massive. Literally not enough time. I think we got 2 99s a day.
It's
Something
crazy,
like that.
dude.
It's insane. We were having our bingo closing ceremony yesterday on Easter Sunday. Don't know why we picked Easter Sunday for the afternoon, but we did it, and a bunch of people showed up, which was really cool. So we had like 30, 40 people in Discord, like announcing the final scores, announcing the winners, and someone got a 99 in the middle of the thing. But they weren't in Discord. I don't know if they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I think somebody got 99 farming during our like closing ceremony. So everyone in the chat was like, "Oh shit, GZ." 'Cause it's like, that's super cool. So everyone who got that done, if you got a combat achievement done, an achievement diary done, if you got a random achievement like Fortimus has 100 days played. I know I said I wouldn't shout anybody out, but that's literally the most recent achievement in the thing.
Mhm.
You know, if you hit base levels, like a base 50, a base whatever, if you hit a Slayer task milestone, huge achievements, each and every one of you. Congrats. It's been a big, busy 2 weeks. You've earned your success. Next week, we'll go back to a more specific achievement of the week.
Yeah.
But
And we'll have a community question posted for this week, which I don't know what it's going to be. So just check the community questions section.
you don't know what the community question's going to be?
I don't have time to think about it right now. Just check the community question section and answer it, and we will answer that question on the next episode. If you want to see the questions, if you want to see all the answers from the last time we asked the community question, which was 2 weeks ago, it's going to be on the episode about the nostalgia. So no more Nostalgiascape. Thank you, Toast, in the recording booth chat for the quick jump on that one. So, yeah.
Michael, it's fun question time. It's the only segment that will live on no matter what. If we have to stay up till 4 a.m. to get to the fun question, let it be so.
With the caveat, I think we mentioned it, maybe off recording, but we're like, we will never have a 4-hour episode. If it's 3 hours and 59 minutes, we're cutting it. Well, maybe if the fun question is at 3 hours and 59 minutes, we may have to finish it out and get a 4-hour episode. But yeah, we do have a fun question that, like you said, this will never go away. We'll keep sourcing them. Like, we have a backlog of thousands of fun questions. Like that meeting, we just added to it, hundreds of thousands of fun questions.
That said, if you guys have any fun questions, please let us know in the fun questions channel in our Xpwaste Discord. Look at me promoting. God, I'm so good.
You know what's funny about that? That's only open to patrons right now. Should we open it to everyone? I don't know. We'll see.
We might. We might just open it to everyone.
Yeah, so if you have any fun questions, post them in there. That being said, this one is being pulled from that channel in Discord. A random person who's not a random person, that's just their name. Shout out to Jack, which is actually Jake, but there's so many Jakes that Jake wanted a nickname and they named themselves Jack. That's
Go
the
back
story.
to last week's episode, to this exact part of the episode from 2 weeks ago, and see if Michael described Jake in almost the exact same words in that order. I want to see how accurate it was, because that was almost like a shot-for-shot remake of how you described it. So a couple weeks ago, Jake gave us a two-parter. Jake hit us with 2 fun questions at the same time. So we answered the first one, and now we're going to answer the second one from them. So, Michael, you want to ask the fun question?
Sure, why not? So, Oxie, what is a piece of OSRS content that you would like to see ported to another style of game? Jake answered this lovely for us. He said, I'd love to see Turbo Zulra in a super twitchy ARPG or bullet hell. I don't know what an ARPG or a bullet hell is, and I certainly don't know what a twitchy Zulra is. So, more power to that, I think.
I haven't the foggiest clue what the second sentence means at all. I'd love to see Turbo Zulra in a super twitchy ARPG or bullet hell. When I first read that, I thought they had a stroke. but I imagine those are just a kind of game that I had never played before. Jake, you're going to need to do a really good job of describing that to me because I don't know what that means. But I know the point of your question. I'm going to answer it. Both of my answers involve just bossing in general.
Okay. Just
bossing in general. The obvious answer that I'm possibly going to steal from you, but also possibly not.
Hold on. Let me, don't look at okay, we're going to do a funny little game. Don't look at the recording booth chat. I'm going to type out in the recording booth chat what mine is, and then we'll have it.
Okay, I've got Discord minimized. Yep, I won't see it.
We'll have a little timestamp of, okay, did you actually steal it, or like, am I just,
Okay.
All right. Go ahead. I've posted it. What is your idea?
Right, he's posted it. My idea, just with bossing in general, you got to have a Pokemon style game. You've got to have like, you get a starter boss and you have to go around fighting different like NPC or like Slayer monsters, and then like, what's a legendary monster though for Pokemon? I don't know. I think that would be cool. More in line, not even more in line, just in line with a different vein of games I really like. I think it would be super cool to have like an old school RuneScape park builder.
Oh,
where you built, where you could put these monsters and these bosses, again, other than like Commander Zilliana, because that feels kind of fucked up, in these different enclosures. Like, could you imagine giving them like super cool habitats, like a God Wars dungeon boss, right? You could give Kriara like a frozen prison kind of thing, or you could put Kriara in like a forest with all these trees for him to perch on.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
you could do like a super cool swamp exhibit for Zulrah. You could do, it does lead to the question of like, what do you do with the more cognitively sentient bosses? Where do you put Verzik Vatour? Where do you put Crazy Archaeologist? Where do you put like Bryophyta and Obor? It's weird. Where do you put Hunlif, who like is technically living in a simulation to begin with?
All of these bosses you've mentioned are already in an instanced area. So it's not that weird.
But like expand on them a little bit more. Like, some of these bosses came out so long ago, like the Dagannoth Kings. Again, you know how much damn time I had to spend with Dagannoth Kings during bingo? I think my team killed collectively over like 1,500 DKs to get an Archer's Ring.
No way.
All three of them between, oh my god, dude, at the very last day of bingo, we had 5 different caves locked down.
Wow.
We were on 4 different worlds. I was in a Slayer cave, and then everybody else was in a normal cave trying to get an Archer's Ring. We got it in the last hour. It was huge. We got the Archer's Ring in the last like 20 minutes or something like that.
Freaking pulled an Oxie on him.
And that it was my team, dude. The Oxie clutch at the very end. And I said, everybody get your shit and go to Zulrah. We're gonna try for the mutagen. We're gonna do a Hail Mary for the mutagen. And it was super cool. Everyone on my team who was online at the time geared up and went to Zulrah. If they could get to Zulrah, they all went to Zulrah. This was a really cool picture of like all of us there on the dock, like as bingo ends. But I think it would be super cool to like design an enclosure for the Dagannoth Kings. What would enrichment for the DKs look like? What would a shelter look like? What would a Calphite hive look like? If you guys have ever played a game like Planet Zoo or Zoo Tycoon or Jurassic World Evolution 2, like the sheer level of customization that is possible in a game like that. Imagine what that could look like for some of these creatures in Old School RuneScape. Even if you take out some of the like the weird like, oh, that boss is sentient. like she thinks, she has thoughts, and like she coordinated this whole theater. Huh. Like, couldn't you make like a horror exhibit for Verzik Vatour if you took that element out?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you could like you could honor, the king and make KBD have a cool dragon lair.
For sure.
Park builder RuneScape would be fun as shit.
You could do it to where like maybe Verzik or the sentient versions of these monsters would be like they would be, I don't know what the word is, but maybe they would be like the head of that exhibit, and maybe they're running the version that is, it's not necessarily where you're putting the monsters in there, but it's like the theme of that section is Theater of Blood. And Verzik is the coordinator for her section. And it's like restaurants themed or different like gaming booths themed for Theater of Blood.
Oh my god, I completely forgot about like the park building element of it, where like you've got the guest areas.
Mhm.
Dude, you got thematic regions and shit. Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah. So
That'd
it doesn't
because
necessarily
like you do that with every park builder. You have like your African animals, you have your jungle animals, you have your Arctic creatures. You do that with like different bosses in different regions of the game. You have like a wilderness area where everything looks burnt and decrepit.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so cool. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, so you're not necessarily having to have them be like the exhibit, but they're there as this is the tour guide, or there's a word that's escaping me right now, and it's maybe because it's late.
Yeah,
but,
I think I think from that encounter specifically, the Nilokas or Zarpus would make for the best like zoo animal enclosure. You know what I mean? Just as like with Chambers, Mutadial would probably make a really good zoo animal. So like that, yeah, park builder would be sick. What do you got, Michael?
So you didn't actually steal it, which I thought,
thank God.
This is a wonder that I had an original thought. Anyway, I would love to see some sort of side scroller, but Inferno Waves style, or like the Fight Cave Waves, but as a side scroller. So as you're running to the right, you're battling all of the little monsters that would be in that wave. And then when you finally get to the end, it's the final boss fight, but it's Jad in a side scroller. I'm just picturing like classic
like
Mega
the Mario,
Man.
Yeah, like Mario N64 kind of.
Yeah, Mario 64, Mega Man, all those classic arcade games as a side scroller. You could literally port anything. You could port the Gauntlet into a side scroller where you're going through the level and you're collecting the resources, and you go in these different areas, and it's all randomized every single time, and by the end you get to the last part of that level, and it's Hunlif at the end. And maybe you have to like Hunlif jumps, and you have to run under it and attack while it's in the air. I don't know. And I'm just thinking like a lot of the art within the game is kind of low grade, pixely stuff anyway. It would port really well into like pixelated art. Like the 64-bit music would be sick, or 8-bit music would be sick. I don't know. I really thought you were gonna do something like Fight Cave style, but no, you surprised me with that one.
8-bit style RuneScape music. Ooh, okay. It sounds weird to compare it to, but 8-bit can have mad potential. Do yourself a favor, go to YouTube. Not right now, Michael, but everybody else listening. Go to YouTube and look up Duel of the Fates 8-bit. Like, just listen to it.
Okay.
There's potential. 8-bit's got potential with good existing music tracks.
Oxie, why don't you
sound good?
Why don't you just throw on desktop audio for 2 seconds and just hit play?
No, because that could actually get us demonetized.
Oh, okay.
So look it up on your own time.
Okay. I will. I will. Because I think that any RuneScape song, and if you're a music artist out there and you haven't tapped into the 8-bit remixes of every single RuneScape song, please do, because I want to fill my ear holes with your lovely music.
RuneScape music artist Kamakian released the Nightmare of Ashihama heavy metal remix, baby. It's the nightmare music done in heavy metal. I fucking love that account now.
Yeah.
Every month. Oh, you got a genie, you lucky bastard.
You know what it's going on? Agility.
Yeah, I've got. What else do you put it on?
I put it on mining before I got 99 mining. But yeah, 8-bit music, that's kind of like a thing, like the question, going back to the question specifically, was like, what piece of Ors content would you like to see ported to another style of game? The music, just straight up, the music of RuneScape.
Yep, 100%.
Ported into any other style of game, whether it's a horror game, where it's all like theatrical and spooky. There are some pretty good songs that are supposed to be spooky, but they just don't sound spooky. So
any game with like a full symphony budget, that would be pretty cool. Not like made on a synth symphony. I mean, like London Symphony Orchestra records, Xenophobe, which is the track that plays at DK's.
I think you're gonna have nightmares about DK's. I'm just being honest with you. You haven't already.
I hope not.
Yeah. That was a great question, Jake. Appreciate that so much. Again, if you have any fun question ideas, you don't even have to be part of the Discord to post it. You can DM it to us. You can post it in Xpwaste chat. It probably is going to get buried. That's why we have the fun questions channel. Or hit us up and email it to us. We have an email, xpwastepod@gmail.com. We used to get fun questions in our email, and we haven't gotten a personal email in a long time, and I'm really sad. I have a challenge for you guys. If you dare, write out a postcard with your fun question from your city and mail it to the P.O. Box. P.O. Box 634, Haslet, Texas 76052. Maybe your fun question. No, that's actually a guarantee. You're guaranteed to have your fun question read on an episode if you get it on a postcard that I can physically hold in my hand. And send it to us, because I don't know. I just like getting mail.
I don't even have a counter. That's a good.
I'm gonna have like a stack of 30 postcards. We'll have fun questions out the wazoo.
Something that's a little bit more attainable that I wanted to do this episode right before we close. And I wanted to wait till right before we close specifically.
Okay.
Michael, you have not been playing a lot of Old School RuneScape. This is not a problem, of course. You have a lot more important things to work on. You have real life. You have a new job. Life is moving. That said, motherfucker, we got to light a fire under your ass.
Okay.
XP wasters, hear these words. When this episode comes out, when you make it this far, at Michael and ask him how 99 fishing is going.
No.
Welcome back to the grind, motherfucker.
What have you done?
Add him right now and ask him how 99 fishing is going. That's all I've got for you guys. I'm content to close the episode on that note. What do you think, Michael?
That's awesome. Luckily, our listenership drops like right before the end, so no one's gonna hear that. Hopefully.
Those that do will know. Those that do will do it twice in one day.
If you at me and ask how 99 fishing is going, I will respond, and I will do it kindly. But yeah, I'll have 99 fishing next week. You guys just wait, because I'm gonna camp my ass at Temporos, and I'm not leaving. Not leaving. So I can say it's going well.
Welcome home.
Remind me 1 week. Okay, guys. Again, if you've made it this far in the episode, thank you so much for checking out Xpwaste or returning to listen to this episode. We had a week off last week, and it was sad, but it was also refreshing. And I think Oxie said it best.
God, it was so nice. It was so much needed. It was so needed.
I literally think he said it best when this episode just feels refreshing because we took that week off to plan and to really think about content for the future, rather than just saying, hey, so there's a news post, go and check it out. I don't think that's exciting to either of us. This is not a dig to any podcast that do that, because the tryhards literally live off of the news posts, and they do it well, and they love it, and we love the tryhards. So don't think that's like us coming for other podcasts, because it's not. We just don't enjoy that. But if you made it this far, thank you. If you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. We're at nearly like 650 subs on YouTube. That's crazy. Like the video, leave a comment. And if you want to answer the fun question, it'll be somewhere on that page too. So
I also have 356 followers on TikTok. So,
Woo!
make us TikTok famous. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, if you have a TikTok, just shoot us a follow there. Oxie's got some good content going. Maybe one of these days I'll
good's a word.
I'll go back to editing little clips from each episode. I think that was fun whenever I had time to do that. But oh, if you want to follow us on social media, every link is in the description. We have a link tree and we have links to Oxie and I's personal stuff. Check out xpwaste.shop, check out patreon.com/xpwaste. And if you're going to tweet about us or tweet at us or tweet about merch, use hashtag Xpwaste podcast. We will see you guys next Thursday. Catch you later. Bye.